Are we going? I'm getting some
Yeah, I
extra
said go.
sound.
Go ahead.
Give me just a moment. Can you hear this background information that?
No.
Okay. I don't know why I'm getting some extra sound. Can you hear this extra sound, or is it just in my ear?
No, it sounds
okay,
fine.
So let's get started. Sorry, everyone. We had a small technical glitch, but we're over it now, I think. Welcome back to the Astro Imaging channel. I've been gone for a couple weeks setting up a new observatory out in California, but I'm back, new whiskers and all, which my wife doesn't like. Are we still getting extra sound?
Something weird's going on with the stream.
I was getting it too, but I don't know what's going on. I think it's just played for a while and it's done. I think it's going to be over with in a second. Are we good?
As far as I can tell, I'll listen to the
is.
stream here real quick and double check.
Hang in there with us, everyone. Shall we get started? Okay, let's.
Yeah,
let's
I went and listened. It sounds fine.
Okay, let's get started again. Welcome back to the Astro Imaging channel. I am getting feedback on my earpieces. What's going on?
Can't tell you.
Okay, I guess we'll just stumble along. Someone asked on YouTube what's going on, whether they're hearing the same thing that we are.
They're
Right.
talking to us. You've got to remember, Eric, they're 30 seconds behind us.
Yes, but I'm hearing YouTube
Oh,
and I don't
shit.
have
Hang
YouTube
on.
going.
I know what it is. I know what it is. I know what it is.
Turn off.
The stream isn't.
Yep, I know what the problem is.
Okay.
Hang in there, folks. It's a live broadcast.
Yep.
Me
Okay.
occasionally. Are we good now?
That should fix here shortly. I had
Okay.
a massive OneDrive upload going on that I forgot about.
Okay, for the third time, welcome back to the Astro Imaging channel. We're still getting a bit of a repeat, but I think it's over. Molly has fixed it. Thanks, Molly.
Hopefully.
Tonight we have Johannes Maier going to talk to us about a special little add-on for N.I.N.A, which I think we're all looking forward to. Molly, I'm still getting this echo.
It's going to have to be on your end.
You
don't have YouTube open,
your
do you?
No, I don't
There.
even have YouTube running.
Okay, well, I don't hear it
Eric.
on the stream, so it must be on your end.
Okay.
Eric, do you have YouTube stream running? Are you?
No, I
listening
don't.
to this too? Okay.
No, I don't. Okay, let's go along. Before we go to Johannes and his application that you can run on your phone. Okay,
Yeah, people are saying it's good.
are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, before we get going on the presentation, we're going to have Terry Robeson, who is.
Do you want me to do it? See if you're still getting that echo.
I'm getting a terrible echo here.
Okay,
It's really hard to
I'll go ahead and
concentrate.
talk then. Okay. Yeah. So before we get going, we're gonna have. So we got Terry, our own Terry Robeson, down under in at his observatory in Australia, out in the bush, and he's out there doing some maintenance this weekend, and thought we would check in and see what he's got going on for fun. Go ahead, Terry.
Hi guys, am I coming through?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome from sunny Australia. This is my observatory. It's in country Victoria. I'll give you a bit of a look. That's a gum tree, very small, but this is kind of what the grounds look like. And my observatory is inside this dome here. I'm actually cleaning the mirrors. It's a complete off-the-grid system. We have the whole place powered by solar cells. This is a 3.5 kilowatt system here. And we have way over here, since I'm not out here, there's all sky cameras. This is Raspberry Pi, 3D printed. We have another one sitting up in the sky here. So there's redundancy, there's weather station. The Yagi antenna is my internet. It all runs off a 4G network. And in here we have the battery box. So this is a bank of lead carbon batteries. It's 11 kilowatt battery set. And this is the inverter, all the interdisconnects. These are all relays for swapping. I can swap equipment from in here, but inside the dome is where most of the switching occurs. Down below, we have a device that I made. It looks pretty messy because it's been up and running for about 8-9 years. That's all IP addressable. I can toggle, switch everything remotely. That's me cleaning the mirror with a pressurized container of water and alcohol. I just shove it up the guts of my telescope, let her go, and then I have another air squeegee that I manufactured for cleaning the mirror. And go to the back of the business end. This is a kind donation from our friend Eric. This is an STL. I'm still running CCD, and the telescope here is an old Arcos, and this is an astrophysics mount. And out of here, we're looking north, and that's my view. But I typically image straight up, and that's the battery box there. So it's pretty good. We're about 240, 250 meters above sea level. So it's not that high, but the skies are actually pretty good. And I think it's a Bortle 1. And that's about it. Is there any other questions?
Awesome. Yeah, we'll if people have any questions, we can revisit those later on. Also, don't forget to folks in the room, the chat goes out to the stream, so
I can't see that I'm on my phone. So what I'll do is I'll disappear. If there's any questions about that, I could always just ask Molly, and we can get that out to you somehow. I guess is that right, Molly?
Yeah, if you're you can either stick around or we'll figure it out.
Okay. Okay. I'll leave the phone running. Can I rejoin later?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Just be
Okay,
sure to mute yourself,
Yeah.
Terry.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Terry. And yeah, if folks have any questions about his setup, you can go ahead and put those in the chat. And when he rejoins us toward the end of the show, we can talk about those. So tonight we have Johannes and Christian from Germany calling in at 3 o'clock in the morning. So you guys are very fortunate that they're willing to stay up very late in the night for us. And Johannes, it looks like Christian is here.
Yes, Christian is here.
All right, Christian, are you going to do the presentation?
Yes, I do.
All right. So why don't you go ahead and share your screen, the square box on the bottom with the up arrow. Share your entire screen. But we have them here tonight to talk about Touch-In Stars, which is an app for controlling N.I.N.A from a touchscreen device. So please also introduce yourself, and I think we'll get rolling here.
All right. Foremost, thank you for having us tonight. My name is Christian, and I'm one of the developer of Touch-In Stars. Together with me, Johannes is also here today, and he's the let's call him the master brain behind Touch-In Stars. He's the initial creator. He came up with the idea, and today we wanted to talk about how he came up initially with the idea to create Touch-In Stars, and a little bit of the background, what happened. Yeah, basically who we are. We are a group of 3 people at the moment who are working on Touch-In Stars. It's Johannes who came up with the idea. It's Christian Palm. Christian is the developer of the advanced API for N.I.N.A, if anyone knows that, and he also helped us to develop the Touch-In Stars plugin itself. A little bit more about that later. And myself, I'm also called Christian. I'm working on the web app and the Android version of the application. So basically, I have a few points, and then we are going to demonstrate a little bit about, or show you a little bit about the application itself. Quickly, what was the idea? How was it born? It was in November last year where Johannes thought about what he's going to do with his equipment. How can he control it? He needs to find a way, or wanted to find a way to neatly and quickly access his equipment, controls it without having a PC outside or having a complex setup. And he checked the environment, he checked the market about possible and available solutions. And he knew about RCR, he knew about TailorMade, and he knew about N.I.N.A. And he was thinking about pros and cons about each product, and he checked his equipment, he checked what is the pros and cons about RCR, for example, and RCR was not an option because it was highly restricted to ZVO only equipment. TailorMade is a cool product. It's open source. It supports a variety of different equipments, but the Android application and also the configuration with chaos and all the little components that you have to configure, have to keep track of, is a little bit complex. And then you have N.I.N.A. N.I.N.A is a well-known established solution. It supports pretty much everything, as long as you have an ASCOM driver or an Alpaca driver. The con was you have to use a tablet or laptop. You have to do a remote session towards some little Astro PC, and then it's getting hard to control. Control something with a little touch device. Then he thought, okay, N.I.N.A is providing an advanced API from Christian, and he's able to create plugins, and he's thought, okay, I want to do anyway some programming. Let's do something for N.I.N.A. Let's try to create a sort of minimalistic touch interface to give him basic options to control his equipment or to control the sessions. So a new idea was born. He thought about, okay, how can I utilize my smartphone to quickly and easy control N.I.N.A? He was checking also some videos on YouTube from Frank Sackenheim, Astrophoto Cologne. He's a German streamer and astrophotograph. And also checked again functionalities about N.I.N.A. And after that, he decided, okay, let's do it. My main idea is camera control, focusing, DPPA, so 3-point full alignment. So the project timeline was, he started end of November, and he quickly realized, okay, I'm very limited in the way how I can control N.I.N.A. So he reached out to Christian Palm, and Christian was immediately joining the project as he thought, okay, that would be an absolutely awesome idea. It could help me to further develop the API and also give back to the community. On end of December, Johannes presented his first, let's call it alpha version on the German Dark Matters Discord, and he received excellent feedback. And this was also the time around where I heard about Touching Stars, and I was also absolutely hyped about this tool. And I'm also a developer and thought, okay, this would be something that's really cool to work on. because the first thing that I noticed was this tool is completely in German. And I thought, okay, maybe we need to do some translation work first, introduce a proper localization system to support multiple languages. And around the 2nd of January, I messaged him and told him, hey, are you looking for some help? I'm willing to provide some support, also give you a localization method. And he said, yes, this would be great, awesome. And so the collaboration started. And now, around the 15th of January, we created a plugin and released the first Android version of the code. And currently, the whole project has around about 20K, 25K lines of code. So that's it so far for the history and where we are now. In terms of features, what do we cover at the moment? I only put a few samples here because it's a big list. But so the main important thing at the moment, Touch and Start supports the sequence control, so you can start, stop, or reset your current system sequence. You have the full camera control, so you can connect, disconnect your camera. You can do some configurations like the gain, like temperature control, and pretty much all available functions that a driver can deliver. And we can control autofocus. We have a slew and center function. Johannes also rebuilt the center here function, which ZVO introduced. We introduced a proper star search, a target search, and many more. But that's something that I show you in the live demonstration later. So planned features, work in progress. At the moment, we covered a lot of functionality that N.I.N.A can deliver, and that we are also able to fetch via the advanced API. We're a little bit limited in terms of functionality when it comes to in-field features like editing a sequence, for example. This is currently not possible because N.I.N.A is not able to provide such things as an event or gives the possibility to modify a loaded sequence individually. But what we're currently working on is the integration of a Stellarium web engine. Now to scale to gaze around the night sky, to find a potential target, and directly load the target into your sequence and start shooting. We also wanted to provide a sort of remote connection possibility without having to set up everything. So therefore, we're working on a VNC client, similar to Stellamate. We're working on an inbuilt updater. As for now, we have to compile the plugin each and every time and compile the Android APK in order to provide the latest and greatest features. This takes a lot of effort, and we thought as we're utilizing React Vue.js as the background, we could have some sort of inbuilt updater to not have to release a new version each and every time, but to give also the user the option to see the newest changes with a press of a button. And then I would say, let's dive into the system. I will show you the different points of what we have, how it's working, and we can do a little Q&A afterwards. So Touch and Start is an N.I.N.A plugin. This plugin can be found in the official repository from N.I.N.A under available. before with Touch and Stars. So Touch and Stars works with a web interface, and it also requires the advanced API encryption. So when you install Touch and Stars and the advanced API, where is it? Here we are. You have to do some configurations. For Touch and Stars, it's enough to enable the web app, keep the port on 5000 if you don't have anything else running on that port. The use access control header, you don't have to enable it. It's only required if we later on will introduce the native clients for Windows and Linux and potentially macOS. And within the advanced API, you can keep the port on default, and here you have to enable the access control headers because the way it's working is we are communicating via HTTP. I know it's a little bit insecure, but in a closed network out on the field, no one cares about that one. And to allow cores to communicate from our web agent towards the advanced API, it's necessary. So once you've installed Touch and Stars, advanced API, made the configuration, you need to ensure that you have a proper setup of your N.I.N.A environment. So what does it mean? You have your profile set up, you have your camera. So pretty much everything that you would like to use during your session needs to be configured first. Then you need to utilize advanced sequencer. We do not support the legacy sequencer. And you have to automatically load your default sequence on startup, which can be configured. Where was it? In the image tab and on the startup sequence template. Okay, if that's working and you've configured it and you use a normal N.I.N.A setup, what you can do then is
Did he do the thing where he closed his browser by accident?
Yep, he closed his browser. Johannes, can you give him a quick call and tell him to log back in?
Yes. Okay. Can I share my browser tab? Because I or okay, moment, please.
Johannes, this is what we were talking about,
Yes.
and not change programs in the middle of things.
Christian's
Oh,
back.
he's back. Chris,
He's back.
Chris is back. Congratulations.
so sorry. I guess
We got to warn Johannes about this at the beginning. We did not get to warn you. Do you want to hop back in? Go ahead and
yes,
Johannes
of
stop
course.
sharing and Christian share. Great. All right.
Okay, sorry for that one.
Thanks for coming back in. All right, take it away.
Okay, perfect. So this is the standard interface of Touch and Stars. It's highly mobile optimized and touch friendly. So you can control it on your smartphone, on your tablet, or on your PC. And it's structured in icons. So let me quickly disconnect already connected stuff. And by default, you would see 3 icons. It's the equipment item, it's the sequence item, and it's the settings icon. Currently, you see the sequence stats icon because I've run the test sequence before. But from the equipment tab, what you can do is you can choose your profile. So those are the same profiles that you have in N.I.N.A with the different configurations. And you're able to connect or disconnect your equipment. If we now go connect the camera and the mount, for example, and I would like to see the weather, maybe connect the switch and the rotator. We see also here on the side that N.I.N.A is connecting all my equipment. And we see additional informations like weather information on the lower corner. We can click on it. We get the current temperature information from my configured open WeatherMat API. You can also change from imperial to from metric to imperial and the other way around. You see the latest available log file message from N.I.N.A on the footer. You can also click on it and get an overview about everything that happened in your last session or in your current session. Now you can check through, see what happened, any potential issues. You have the opportunity to download these logs either on your PC locally or on your device where you're using the touch interface. Then we have the camera control. Now the camera control is a simple interface. You have a capture option like image instance in N.I.N.A. Now we can get an image, and currently my plate solve is not doing what I wanted to do. Right? Let's quickly change the camera. So here we see a preview of the image. We can loop, so it will take constant exposures in the with the configured exposure time, gain ISO, binning configuration. We can say use plate solve. We can utilize the connected rotator. We can configure the camera cooling. Let's enable cooling. So now we see status information that it's starting to cool the camera now. You see the current temperature. Let's just try a new capture. No, for some reason my blade solve is not working. Oh boy. Okay. In that image here, you usually have the opportunity to use the information like, oh no, sorry, I'm in the wrong tab. Let's go here. So this gives you a basic access to take images, to do some previews, to do some loopings. In the mount control is where the magic happens. we divided it into 3 options: mount, slew, and TPPA. Mount control for itself. You have a manual way of controlling your mount. Slew into the different directions, set your slew rate, change tracking mode, park it, unpark it, or put it to home position. In slew, we provide functionalities like searching for targets. If you do a search here, it will utilize the N.I.N.A internal database. And if you configure the N.I.N.A cache for target images, it will show you, or the offline cache, it will show you the preview pictures. If you have a black screen, we also provided some information like, if it's black, please install the offline SkyMap cache. And here we can utilize, for example, the framing assistant. So we can position our camera in a way we want it. We can rotate the camera. We could also determine the rotation from the camera. This requires plate solving, which is currently not working for my simulator. And if you do, and if you do a blade solve, you would be able to utilize our new feature center here. So within your selected area, the mount would slew to the new position, do a plate solve, and Johannes just messaged me. He would be able to show it to you afterwards. And then you have your new selection. You can click on it. And then we could put this to our sequence. So this is the only way to modify a sequence that's available to us, changing targets. For utilizing the autofocus, we introduced the visible star search, which is displaying usable stars in your area sorted by altitude. If we take a star, we get a preview of the star, and we could center to it, slew to it, center on it, and perform some autofocus. And then we have 3-point polar alignment, which gives you the functionality to utilize TPPA with your smartphone. I simply connect to it. The one. Let's try it again. So we see it's slowing to the first position.
We have a couple of questions while it's doing that. If you want to take a few.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Is the reason why it's Android only related to the reason why N.I.N.A is only for Windows?
No. The reason why the application is Android only is because Android, I can just create an Android application. I don't have to fulfill any requirements. I don't have to pay $100 per year just to release an application which is open source and free for use to some restricted store. Yeah, the technical challenges are way too high for me to release an iOS version. It's tested on iOS. It's working fine. It's great. But I'm not going down the rabbit hole to deal with Apple.
Okay. Is there a way to do a live view feature for people who do manual focusing?
Johannes, maybe you can take that one over.
Yes, I can do that later, or I take the presentation.
Do you want him to take the presentation or just answer the question?
Johannes, do both. Also show the 3-point polar lamp because my sky simulator is currently doing something that I don't know what.
Okay, why don't you stop sharing and then Johannes can share.
Of course.
If you just go back to the Meet window and stop sharing, yeah.
And Chris can answer these questions.
Say that again.
Okay, you can see it.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, connect, focus, and mount. Okay, it's run with a simulator, but you can start it. At the time, we don't have a live graph, but you can see it at the last messages. What's happened?
But the live view will be introduced once N.I.N.A will release version 3.2. When it comes out of the nightly release and hits the official build, then we will change it. But currently it's a nightly only version, and all our releases will focus on the stable version.
Okay.
Christian, Johannes, I have a question. How does this look on a relatively small screen on a mobile device?
Okay.
I will show this to you then, or Johannes can do this as well.
Have you made some accommodation for the screen size for a mobile?
Yes. So like I said in the beginning, this is highly mobile optimized. So the whole UI rearranges based on the screen size. So if you have a really small device, it will hide a few components. So for example, in the navigation UI, the more equipment you've connected, the bigger your navigation UI would be. So one thing that we introduced is the whole navigation UI is scrollable. You can slide left and right to access your different components.
Okay. And now you can see the autofocus is done, and we have the graph.
Do you have a way to see the images live? Like if you were doing a manual autofocus or a polar alignment?
At the time, no.
Okay.
But I think we can build it.
Or at least at the rate that like the looping that N.I.N.A does.
Yeah, this is currently possible.
Okay.
The loop is your dysfunction.
Yeah, I wish N.I.N.A would do a true live view like SharpCat, but the loop works for focusing and stuff at least.
Okay.
But okay, so that is there.
You know, and this is there, and then the loop with the settings.
Okay.
Exposure and gain and so on.
Perfect.
If a blade self is done, you can push this button, and here is the center here function. You can drag and drop a new object and slew and center.
That's really cool.
It's for manual focus, maybe. Okay. Yeah. Chris was yes, 3-point polar. I make it.
Great.
You see, slewing the first position, then make a blade solve, and we have built the last messages for more. Wie sagt man, Übersicht? More
visibility.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So basically, this was one of the last introductions that we put on the last messages to see what is DPVA currently doing. Potential errors. So like in my example where blade solve was failing, you immediately see it. And once DPVA is done doing the alignment and continues in the loop, you see your altitude error, your azimuth error, and your total error. And to further enhance the user experience, we also added little smileys like a good one if you're under 1 arc minute, and a sad smiley if you're above 1 arc minute,
That's great.
just to give the impression of how good your whole alignment is at the moment.
Okay. I think
You're
that's.
taking
Go ahead.
clues from social media. I see.
Okay.
I think that's all the questions we have for right now. So yeah, go ahead and press on.
Okay, Chris, like you or
Yeah, I can take over again.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I connected a switch before. So we introduced the possibility to control connected switches. So we have the option to display all available values, and if you have a more advanced switch, like a Pegasus switch, we also provide the option to control the sliders to turn on and off different components, to see the battery percentage, the battery voltage, and other information available. If you have a dome and, for example, a safety monitor, we support the control of the dome, like open shutter, close shutter, and this will also utilize the safety feature seen at the bottom down below. Currently, it's not safe to open the shutter. So if we change that in N.I.N.A, and say it's safe, so the safety plugin is reporting back is green. And we, for example, could open the shutter now. This is currently, no, it's opened. We could continue with our session. Then you can control your filter wheel, focuser. If we start PHT2 as well, then we can also control the guider. And we can control any flat panel. So you see, we have a bunch of icons now on a mobile screen. It would be hilarious to use it. So if I make it small now, so this is how it would look like on your end. And therefore, on a mobile device, you can slide left and right to access your different values, your different components. And go to camera. You see everything matches up to your screen size. Okay. So with that in mind, we have the option to control the flat panel. Yeah. Turn light on, turn light off, control the brightness. If supported, we can close the cover and open the cover automatically. So the guider is supported, and we support pretty much everything that N.I.N.A supports. You can start the guider, you can start it with calibration. So this is a PHT specific function. So it detects that we're running PHT2 in the background. And then it will show you your RMS error and DEC and total errors. Before I jump into the sequence, let's quickly go over the flat assistant. That's a new introduction Johannes made just a few days ago. So There you can use the flat assistant to create flats. And in settings, we have a few options to configure. So you can set your GPS coordinates. You can set up N.I.N.A connection details, which comes in handy if you're using the Android version. You can configure multiple N.I.N.A instances, and if you have like 2 or 3 Astro PCs running on, for your setups, you can just quickly jump to the next N.I.N.A instance if they're all in the same network. If not, you just need to join the different network, and then you have a list of N.I.N.A instances like N.I.N.A 1 or 5000. Edit. I have my first N.I.N.A instance, and I could do N.I.N.A 2. I know this is running on port 505. And then you can build up a list of available N.I.N.A instances. So as I said, we support currently multi-language. So supported languages would be English, German, France, Italian, Czech, Chinese, Portuguese, and Spanish. We change it. It's automatically changing the language in the background. So on. And you can configure the image quality of the visible images that we show. We also have a tutorial which guides you through the different components, what they're doing, and this will be shown when you open up Hutchin Stars interface for the first time. And one thing that we introduced newly is system control, so you can restart or shut down your remote system. If you click in it, you need to confirm it, and I'm not going to do it now because then my PC will shut down.
That is excellent.
So N.I.N.A API is unreachable. That happened because I entered an invalid IP address on my dev environment, which is not good. Let me quickly solve that. So this would be the view, how you would see it if you first starting Touch and Start for the first time. You get a little welcome setup introduction. So you have to choose your language. You can configure your GPS configuration. This will automatic. So this get GPS coordinates is only working on Android as for now. So here's the tutorial that I showed you previously. Let's skip that for now. And
May I
then
ask
jump into the SIG. I guess.
May I ask a question here? You are, with what you're doing right now, logging into the computer that's running N.I.N.A.
So this interface is hosted by the N.I.N.A instance on your Astro PC, for example. So with the plugin,
He's running it locally for this demonstration, but it would be on your remote
hosted
computer.
locally, exactly. But if you have an Astro PC, what you could do is you use the IP address or the FQDN. This is what can be seen from the Touch and Start plugin configuration page with the configure port and the information from PC. So currently you see I have localhost 5000, but I could also access it. Let's assume this is my remote PC, the IP address or the FQDN.
The remote PC is running the program N.I.N.A.
Exactly.
Okay. The reason I ask is because Mark Elton has suggested that he likes the idea of being able to polar align with touch and stars. And Mark, you'll have to clarify this because you don't have to take a PC out there anymore.
No, you can
but
use
you will
your
still
smartphone.
have, but you will still have a PC at the imaging rig, correct, Mark? You go ahead and answer
Exactly.
that. And you agree with that? That you still have to have a PC or a computer someplace at the imaging rig.
Yes, you do, because
Okay.
I guess as you don't want to connect all your Astro gear to your smartphone.
Okay. Thank you.
This would be useful for if you use like a headless PC, like an Eagle or a Nook or one of those mini PCs that doesn't have a screen. Like I'm usually outside looking at my telescopes, doing polar alignment with my tablet, remoting into that computer. This would kind of do the same thing, but with the N.I.N.A interface. It sounds like you could stand out there with your tablet and have a much easier interface than trying to click on buttons on a remote connection on a tablet.
Exactly. This was the initial idea why Touch and Stars was born.
Excellent.
So you don't have to use a remote desktop application on your tablet to control N.I.N.A to, for example, do TBPA. I know that for myself when I'm out on the fields. It's very inconvenient to try to adjust your mount and have your tablet in your hand just to see how's my polar alignment at the moment. And so I can just take my smartphone, click on DPPA, and adjust the knobs accordingly.
Yeah, excellent.
So in the sequence control, like I said, it will display your currently automatically loaded advanced sequence with pretty much each and every information available. Also, I just set up a basic sequence. It contains a global trigger with a meridian flip. It shows you how long does it take for the next time to flip in hours. Then it shows you your different containers, like your basic sequence start. We do some equipment check. We wait for a specific time. We unpack the scope. We set the tracking modes. We do some filter switching, for example. And maybe one thing to the switch filter function. Currently, we only support automated filter switching. Manual filter mounts are not supported because if you do that, you have to accept or press OK inside N.I.N.A itself and the pop-up. This is something that we currently can't cover, nor do we have any influence into something like that. But hopefully this will change in the future. So we are in contact with Stefan Berg and try to push him to support a few more feature requests on our side. Then we see the target container. Now we replaced the default target with M42 from before. And if we click on start sequence now, we see the running indication. And you see a lot of icons disappeared. This is happening because when we start a sequence, we disabled, for example, the camera control, the mount control, because we do not want to support any actions that might break your sequence. And also N.I.N.A is disabling by default functionality when a sequence has been started. So if you scroll down now, we see one container in blue. This is the current active container. So my target container is running, and currently we're waiting until it's above the horizon. So in my case, it's like 16 hours. And once it's done, it would do this little center, so prepare the target to your image session. And basically somewhere after a few hours, it will hit the end container. It will perform your basic sequence and targets or steps and call it a day. So during the runtime, we have a little dashboard in place. So we have the stats information. So each image that has been taken from your current session, so this was a test prior to this event, it takes the image, it gives you some information about the date, half-flux ratio, median, RMS, duration, mean, standard deviations, and temperature. It gives you also a little graph about your stars, what about HFR and amount of stars. You would see your guiding information, and you also have an information about your last autofocus. So this dashboard changes over time. If you say, okay, this is too much information, I don't want to see my autofocus chart, and I don't care about the HFR chart, you have a way smaller display here. And one thing that we integrate today is something called image history. There's still a little bit of work to do because this will load the picture in full size at the moment, and we want to scale it down. But this is basically showing you each image from your last session with its values, and just to give you a little bit overview about the last images. And once N.I.N.A came out of the nightly build, we would also then try and start and try to support the live stacking. Yeah, let's stop the sequence. You see my other functionalities appear again, and I can also reset the sequence. And everything is back to normal.
Chris, the zoom from the image, you can push the image on the image and then you can zoom it.
Yes, that's true. I was referring to the overall display size of the image history. I can zoom it, that's yeah, but those images are still too huge. So they're utilizing their full resolution, they scaling based on screen size, but yeah, I'm not yet totally happy with how it looks. And that's pretty much it for the live demonstration. Did I miss something, Johannes?
No, I think you have shown. Okay, maybe in the flat. No, the framing assistant. Genau, and the target. If blade solver is running, you can plate the main rotation from the camera with the button. Or if you have a rotator, you can set the rotation and then outside of this window, Chris, close it please. You can slew and center and rotate over these 3 buttons. I think it was all.
All right. Then we already at the end of our presentation.
Do you want to talk about upcoming features you guys are planning?
I quickly teased it in the previous slides.
Okay.
So like I said,
Sorry.
we're working on the Stellarium web engine integration. So the idea behind that is to give the option to utilize the Sky Atlas in Touch and Stars, like you're used to from N.I.N.A, from Stellarium itself. Yeah, the VNC client to quickly check what's going on in N.I.N.A if you're facing some issues. Like hopefully at some point a sequence editor. But maybe one remark to the sequence, the future plan sequence editor, we are not planning to allow a user to fully configure or create a sequence. This would be overkill for Touch and Stars because, as you all may know, N.I.N.A is very powerful in terms of advanced sequence. You have tons of plugins which introduces new features and functionalities. We're not able to cover each and everything. What we will do is we will provide options, or we hopefully can provide options to modify an existing sequence, like removing components, modifying exposure information, modifying filter information. So the basics. No? Let's call it the basics. And the inbuilt updater is for the web interface, so we don't have to build new releases each and every time when we edit some new cool features, but we give the user an information that a new front-end version has been released, and the user can then update this manually.
You guys can stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
If you'd like.
Okay. I didn't see any more questions in the chat. If you have any, oh yeah, go for it.
I have a question.
People in the chat, if you have any questions, put them in there. Go ahead, Alex.
I'm kind of lazy and I don't like going out to the observatory, even if it's all like 100 feet away. And I now use a remote desktop. And I can do many of the things you're talking about, not necessarily by finger pointing and scroll, and just pushing it around with my finger. But I use a remote desktop, Chrome remote desktop in my case. Other people use other things. Tell us a little bit about how your product there is superior to that particular approach.
I wouldn't call it superior. I would call it different. Yes, of course, you can use any remote desktop connectivity. You can use it from Google. You can use TAIC VNC. There are different options to control it. For me and for Johannes especially, it was inconvenient. He wanted to have a single web page to control his basic setup from N.I.N.A. And that's what we show to you guys and to the audience. The idea is not to replace any available product. It's more like giving the user a way to conveniently use his smartphone or tablet to control his N.I.N.A environment, like connecting, disconnecting equipment, taking some exposures, doing PPA with your smartphone in your hand. In your case, if you have a remote observatory and you're sitting in front of your desktop PC, sure, it's a question, does it make sense to use a smartphone? Most probably not, because you're using your PC. And this is something that I wanted to also tackle with the VNC integration. So currently you're using the Google Chrome remote desktop session. I would introduce no VNC, which requires you to set up a VNC server on your Astro PC, similar to the Google Chrome VNC setup. and then you can simply open up Touch and Stars and have your VNC ready. If is it more convenient? I don't know. It's up to the user to judge if he wants to use it or not.
Alex, you're muted.
Jeff, I said you certainly did you certainly got some kudos over here. Jeff awarded you an Academy Award for cool apps, and Mark has congratulated you for all your work, and he's also said that what you've done is plenty for right now, but I bet you he's also looking forward for some of those future enhancements. Okay.
So for people to get this set up, it's installing the plugin in N.I.N.A on their remote on their Astro imaging PC, and following the instructions in the plugin, and then accessing the URL from a browser on their Android device. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's not only Android, so you can use any iOS device as well. Yeah, the fact that we don't have an iOS native application doesn't mean you can't use an iOS device. It's quite funny because I see very often comments and discussions that, oh yeah, too bad it's Android only. No, it's a web browser application. You can type in the URL to any device that offers you a web browser. It doesn't matter if it's an iPad, a MacBook, any iPhone or Android device, or your Nokia that supports a modern browser. Yeah? It doesn't matter. You can
Okay.
use it. So there were some quite heavy discussions on the video from Quiff, the Lazy Geek, where he introduced or talked about Touch and Stars, that the iOS community was very upset that they were not able to use Touch and Stars. And no, you can use it, guys.
Well, that's excellent. Okay. Yeah, let's see. So I don't have any other questions in the chat. Lots of kudos. Any other questions in the room? All right. Yes, so make sure that you come join us next week for, we're having Kai Young back to talk about the ZWO C-Star. If you recall, he's been on here twice, I think, to talk about some really amazing things he's doing with his C-Star. And he's coming back on to talk about some C-Star advanced techniques. And then on the 9th, we have Dustin Brimberry with astrophotography for beginners. And he was supposed to be on previously. We've rebooked him for March. And then Sunday after that is simplified processing with StarPX. So another image processing software that has a lot of promising features. So definitely tune in for all of those. Our full calendar is on our website, theastroimagingchannel.org. And am I forgetting anything? Anybody? Oh, yes, we always need speakers. You see, if you go to our calendar, you'll see that eventually we have a lot of slots that say open. So again, as we always do, soliciting for people to come on and give a talk about something that they know, they love, even if it's something we've covered in the past, even recently. Everybody has something different to say and has a different perspective and knows something that somebody else doesn't. So please reach out on our contact us on our website, and one of us will get back to you about your topic idea. Anything else, guys?
Gentlemen, we do continue after we end the stream, so if you'd like, if you're not ready to fall over and go to bed at 4 in the morning, then please do. If not, thank you so much for your presentation and for staying up for us. We do appreciate it. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of people in your part of the world that could give excellent presentations. If you know of anyone and would like to suggest them, you know, please just drop them a line and we will do the contact. I know it makes it a little more difficult to get up in the middle of the morning, but it's certainly appreciated.
Yeah, this is
fantastic.
Molly.
Bitte.
Thanks for stepping in. I don't know what happened. Eventually it went away. So
Yeah, no worries. None of us are strangers to weird tech issues, of course. And apologize again for the issues at the beginning. I'm doing a big OneDrive upload of data that I'm sharing with another person to make a massive image of Cassiopeia A. So get excited for that from me from the future. Okay. With that, I guess we will say good night, and I will tell myself to end the stream. So good night, everybody.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Bye bye.
Good night.
See you all next week.